wctlive.ca. Marchand. I am currently the Managing Director for Indigenous Theatre here at the National Arts Centre, but I was the Executive Director at Western Canada Theatre for 19 seasons. So I am Syilx. I'm a member of the Syilx Nation. When I think about Kamloops and Western Canada Theatre in particular, I think about the history of the development of new work, the professional development opportunities for young and emerging artists, playwrights, directors. The company and the community have played an incredible role in that development. It is a community that elected my dad in 1968, the first person of First Nation status elected to Canadian Parliament, only 8 years after we won the right to vote. Being an artist was probably who I was always meant to be. You know, I was grateful because my community paid for my university degree, and I felt it was incredibly important to give back to my community with that education. I worked, in fact, for the BC United Women's Society, my first job after graduating, and that led to a job at the Canada Employment Centre for Students, which is where I met David Ross, the AD of Western Canada Theatre. David and I hit it off when we moved to Whitecourt, Alberta. Whitecourt had this amazing community theatre group. And the lovely David Ross, whenever I'd call, always returned my calls. In gratitude, I took David for lunch just to say thank you when I was back in Kamloops. He said, well, I didn't mean to turn this into a job interview, but needless to say, in July of 1999, I started at the company. In terms of incredibly momentous times at Western Canada Theatre, a lot of them are based in and around the Indigenous work that we commissioned, developed, and premiered. The first was probably Ernestine Shuswap Gets Her Trout. It was a co-commission with the Secwepemc Cultural Education Society of Thompson Highway. It was the first play he had written in a decade. Representatives from all 17 Secwepemc nations were present. It was an incredibly important moment. The commissioning premiere development of Where the Blood Mixes by Kevin Loring was also an incredibly important work based in Lytton. The context is, of course, the impacts of residential schools and the 60 Scoop. So it was in and around that work where we actually started to develop some of the cultural care that is in place now across the country. And so when we talk about Canada Strong, this is what we're talking about. The fact that there is a place in Kamloops with my name on it is really a testimony to the work of my dad, to the work of my brother, to the work of the elders that I had the honor of working with to set up those protocols in and around the Indigenous work that we did. It's a testimony to every single artist we work with over those 19 seasons. It's a testimony to the staff members that I worked with who committed more than just hours logged in a working day. It was their souls and their beings that were committed to that company and making it into what it has become. As I said to Ron Fawcett when he called and told me, I just said, like, I was taught to just say thank you. And so I will say thank you and accept only on the condition that we acknowledge that this isn't just about me. This is a lot of people who are involved in that naming and that thank you. Women of the fur trade. so excited that it's going to be on the stage at Sagebrush Theatre. It is a piece, I actually went and saw the Stratford version. Really excited that we were able to co-produce that piece with Native Earth Performing Arts in Toronto and Great Canadian Theatre Company here in Ottawa. The fact that that investment has meant that audiences in Kamloops and in BC on the West are going to be able to see this really fun, meaningful, cheeky, impactful piece is fantastic. I'm Laurie Marchand, and my Western Canada Theatre has played a pivotal role in telling Indigenous stories on stages across the country.